class with a brief meditation, and we are focusing on the chakras this week. I'm going to turn off that noise-making heater that pops on and off. So we're focusing on the first chakra. There we go. And with that, we get to really focus on grounding actions and rooting into the floor and feeling that connection that we have. And I was reading a little bit more about kind of the psychological aspects of it and thinking about the pandemic and the fact that, you know, we've had to create ways to have connections with each other, like period of time where we only saw each other on the screen and not really any face-to-face. And one of the aspects of the root chakra is connection. It is the psychological aspects of it being unbalanced are depression and loneliness and not feeling connected and realizing that through all of the pandemic stuff, there's been a lot of disconnection that's had to happen. And so a lot of people have had some mental health stuff going on. And so I feel really grateful that there is this aspect of the yoga practice that tunes into the need for balance in that mental health way. And so as we come to a comfortable seat and as we connect, allowing that connection of our body with the ground to be that first connection, then we can tune into that as a source of comfort, as a source of feeling safe. And take a moment while you sit to press into your legs to feel a little bit more of that grounding action, even lean into it. And I think about that with friends and family members, how we sometimes lean into them to feel that connection and feel support. So we can do this for ourselves. As you lengthen through your sides, lift up through your shoulders and connect shoulder blades onto your back. You can let your eyes close if you'd like to, but really notice for a moment how your body is connected to the ground, to what you're sitting on, and then begin to connect your breath. And as you connect your breath, notice those natural inhales and exhales that allow your body to expand and contract in this pulsation. And then notice that lift and length, that opening as you inhale. And notice that connection that you have physically with the ground as you exhale. Inhale, feel that length and expansion. And exhale, feel the connection. A couple more breaths this way. And now bring hands to connect at heart center. And as you gently press your palms together, lift up and open through your shoulders and bow toward your heart. Honoring yourself for showing up, for being here, and choosing to connect. And softly opening your eyes, release your hands down. And again, draw your shoulders up and back, lengthen up through the back of your neck, and then take your right ear over to your right shoulder. And as you exhale, drop your chin down in toward your chest. Inhale, left ear to left shoulder. Exhale, chin into your chest. Inhale, switching sides again. Exhale, chin into your chest. And move through this a couple more times on each side with your breath, letting your breath and movement connect. Letting yourself connect with whatever's showing up in your body. And then as you exhale this time, chin drops down, re-engage the shoulder blades, shake your head no toward the ground. Nod your head yes toward the ground. And then lift your chin up toward the ceiling. And shake your head no toward the ceiling. And then back into center. And walk your fingertips forward, working your way as deeply into a forward fold here as your body is ready for. Feel free to add something underneath your forearms to bring the floor to you. Take a big deep breath, and as you breathe, push into your prop or the ground with your hands and lengthen more. Extend your heart further forward. Exhale, maybe soften more. One more full breath here. And then gently bring yourself back upright. And then walk your fingertips back behind you and press down into the ground and lift up and open through the heart space. Shoulder blades are engaging onto your back. Find length through the back of your neck. Take a full breath. And inhale, rise all the way back up and switch the cross of your legs, coming to the less comfortable cross for yourself. And then make it more comfortable. Make sure to prop yourself if you need to. And then root yourself. Press down into your legs with your hands and even lean a little bit into it, leaning into yourself and the connection that you have. Take a full couple of breaths and notice that connection. Notice what's touching. Notice the connection that you have with your breath and how that can shift and change what's going on in your body. And then inhale, sit tall. Let's take gratitude arms. Elbows are hugging in toward your sides. Rotate and open through the upper arm bones. Thumbs move toward the wall behind you. Take a big deep breath as you expand through the heart space. On your exhale, tuck your chin down. And inhale, tilt your chin up. A couple more times this way with your breath. And then come back into center here. Relax your arms for a moment. Work your hands out to your knees and do a couple rounds of cat and cow. Thinking of the movement beginning at the very base of your spine at your root and moving all along your spine to the crown of your head. One more big breath here. And then sitting tall again, gratitude arms one more time. Elbows hug in, rotate, open, and now right ear over to your right shoulder. Think of lengthening through the top of your left shoulder. Full breath into the left side of your neck. Inhale, come back into center. And exhale, left ear to left shoulder. Lengthening through the top of your right shoulder. Feel that length through the side of your neck. And inhale, come back into center. And now bring fingertips to connect in front of you. Press fingertips together and then round back through your spine, finding that cat-like pose. Your chin tucks in. Take a couple big breaths and add a little movement. Inhale, sit tall, release your arms down, roll your shoulders back a couple times. And now shift forward, coming onto hands and knees. And from hands and knees, come to your variation of child's pose, letting hips settle back, letting arms release in whatever position feels good. and letting your head settle. Maybe it comes to a block or the floor or some stacked hands. But find this place for yourself and notice where your body is willing to release and let go and where maybe you're holding on to tension. And take a few moments with your breath to give those tense spots permission to let go, because permission to settle more into the earth. And then inhale, bring yourself back upright, coming to your hands and knees. And as you come to your hands and knees now, set yourself up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, and root through palms, root through fingertips, tuck toes under and sway a little side to side with hips. And then bring hips back to center and sway a little side to side through shoulders. And then coming back into center now, step your right foot forward in between your hands. Feel free to use blocks to bring the ground a little closer to you. Work your back knee back as far as you need and extend further forward with your heart. Take a big deep breath. And then settle back with your right knee and step your left foot forward, taking that lunge on the second side. Work your back knee back, a little longer stretch through the thigh, and then extend your front, extend your heart, sides, collarbones. Big breath. And then settle back onto hands and knees and step your right foot forward again. And this time, if it's in your practice, we're going to rise up with our torso and get a little bit more into the psoas, a little more into that biggest hip flexor in the body. So from this place, as you push your hands down into your legs, lift your chest up. As you lift your chest up, notice from the back inner thigh through the hip into the back ribs near the spine. Take a full big inhale and lift up more with your ribs, lift up more with your collarbones, and maybe settle a little deeper into your front knee. And now as you exhale, bring hands to the ground or your blocks. We'll take a spinal twist. So set left hand on block or the floor on the edge of your mat. Right hand to your knee as you turn your belly and your heart toward the right side. Shoulder blades engage. Feel free to stretch your right arm up if that feels good. Deep breath. Then exhale, both hands come all the way back down to your blocks and settle back onto hands and knees. And then switch. Left foot steps forward. Back your back knee up, and then bring your hands up to your knee if that's comfortable. You can always just take that lunge with your hands on the ground instead if that feels better. But again, as you lift up through your chest, think of lifting the whole rib cage up and then settle a little deeper into your front knee. And notice from the back inner thigh through the hip, all the way up into the back ribs near the spine. Take a big breath. And then exhale, hands come back down to your blocks or the floor. Set your right hand on a block or the floor on the edge of your mat, left hand to your knee. As you turn your belly and your heart more toward the left side. Shoulder blades engage. Maybe stretch the left arm up. Take a big deep breath. Exhaling, hands come all the way back down to the ground and step back to your hands and knees. And one more time, settle hips into your child's pose, knees wide or narrow, your choice. But as you settle, let your breath fill into the lowest part of your belly. Three more full big breaths right here. And then as you inhale and rise back up to your hands and knees, we'll get a little more into the different parts of the hamstrings. So step the right foot forward again. And we're gonna work our way into that hamstring stretch that we know and love. So working your front leg towards straight, your hips are pushing back as you send sitting bones back and wrap your right hip back. Pull your toes back. And then rotate your legs slowly so that you're doing a slow wave with your foot. Keeping your hips centered and steady instead of letting your right hip lift up with this turn. And then inhale, bend into your front knee, and exhale, hips back. And we're gonna go through that a couple more times. Inhale, bend in, and exhale, hips back. One more time, full inhale, bend into your knee, and exhale, hips back, legs straight. Now walk your hands to the left side, and we're gonna turn our right foot so our toes are aimed toward the left. We're gonna turn our left knee so your toes are more off to the right side. So you have a little bit of a base here. Now your torso is turning in this diagonal toward the left. And as you work toward lowering hands a little further, or maybe lowering elbows down onto your blocks or the floor, send sitting bones up. Extend with your heart. Take a full big deep breath and think of your inner thigh on your right leg rotating back. And now inhale, rise all the way back up, and we're gonna pivot back toward the front of our mats, and then settle all the way back into your child's pose, just long enough to check out the difference between your sides. Just take a moment here for a full breath. And then rise back up to your hands and knees and step your left foot forward. And again, blocks for your hands here. And we'll work our front leg towards straight. And as you pull your toes back and push your heel down so your knee has a little bit of a lift, wrap your hip back, but then send both sitting bones back and up. Extend your heart forward. Deep flexion with that front foot, dorsiflexion, toes pull back towards your knee, and then begin to rotate the entire leg in the hip socket, even as the hips stay steady and level. Feeling those different parts of the hamstrings, noticing any sensation that's present. I don't know many people that don't have a lot of sensation through the hamstrings. I know that's always been present for me, so I get to love what is, right? Okay, so now back into center, and we'll do that movement. So inhale, bend into your front knee, and exhale, hips back. Inhale, bend, and exhale, straighten. Inhale, and exhale. One more time. Inhale, and exhale. And now you're walking your hands to the right side and turning your left foot so your toes are in to the right. Turn your right knee so that your right toes are off to the left for that base. And now you're still flexing your foot, giving it a lot of tone. Extend your heart in that diagonal, and then you can work hands a little lower. You can work down toward elbows. You can come to where it's right in your body to send sitting bones up, rotating your left inner thigh back, extending your heart forward. Take a big deep breath. And now inhale, gently come back upright with your hands, and we'll pivot toward the front of our mats again. And one more time, I think I've said one more time a number of times, but that's okay. Hips back, child's pose, to allow yourself that moment to notice maybe a little more evenness in the sensations, and ultimately find that support of the ground. And now push yourself up to your seat and find your bolster and set it to the front of your mat. And we'll come into our IT band stretch here that we know and love, or I know and love. Okay, sit sideways so you're facing the right side with your left hip up against the bolster. And then you're extending your left leg out toward the right side. Right leg can extend back behind you if that feels good. And you can always have a bent knee on either leg if you need. But now we're going to rotate more to the outside edge of our hip and let our whole leg turn a little bit so your toes are aiming more straight ahead instead of up. So now, as you turn your belly and your heart towards your bolster, you can adjust where it is and then come to rest over it. And as you come to rest, you can start to recognize that support of the ground here. And here we're really engaging that action of massage tool with the ground. But notice, where is it that your body is holding on right now? Where is it holding tight? And can you use your breath and that support of the ground to help you let go around those hard edges of tension? We have about 3 more breaths right here. And now you're using your hands to help you bring your torso back upright. Bend both knees and then pivot and turn to the left side. Your right hip is against your bolster. Right leg extends to the left. Left leg can extend back behind you here. And then rotate to the outer part of the leg so your toes are more forward as opposed to up. And then move your bolster to where you need it to be and rest. And recognize on this side if there are any differences in sensation. And again, notice if you can utilize your breath, utilize that support that you have with the ground right now to help you soothe and soften around the tension. Three more breaths. Then use your hands for support to bring yourself back upright. And then bend both knees and bring your legs around to the front. And we're going to take one standing stretch now that we've already gotten all cozy on the ground, I know. But we're going to take our blocks for our support and stack them, or if you have a chair you want to use instead, you can come on up to a standing position, and you can do that in a flowing way if you want to, or just stand up. Either way. So we're going to take that figure 4 stretch, trying to get a little bit more into that hip flexor that's underneath all the glutes that tends to get really short and squish into the SI joint called the piriformis. So whatever you're using to balance with, have that in front of you. And I'm just turning sideways so that you can see, you don't have to turn, but cross left ankle over the right knee and flex your foot, and then start to push your hips back and bring your hands down to your prop, whatever you're using. Give your foot a flex and set your hips down a little further, and then lift up with the left hip, with the left knee, and lean your torso over to the right a little bit. And then reach out to the side with your left sitting bone. Reach out left and back. Take a full, big, deep breath as you reach through the hip. Couple more big breaths here. You're flexing your left foot and pushing your left hip to the left and back. And then come back into center and rise all the way up and set your foot down. Or set your foot down first and rise up, whichever you'd like to do. So now, as you cross your right ankle over the left knee and set your hips back, bring your hands down to your prop, and then give your foot a flex as you push your hips further back and down. And then lift up with the right hip and the right knee and lean your torso a little over to the left. Push your right hip toward the right and back. Take a full, big, deep breath. Reflex your foot. Re-engage that reach out to the right and back. And then come on back into center and stand back up and bring your foot back to the ground. And then feet are at inner hip distance apart and parallel here. And inhale, stretch up. And exhale, fold over your legs. And then pause for a moment just to notice. Wherever that happens to be, and if you do have a lot of tension through the low back, you can always bring your elbows up to your thighs instead here. But take a moment to notice whatever sensations are there, whatever is showing up from the stretching and the work that you've done. And then plant hands and step back to your hands and knees. And then you're going to bring your hips all the way back down to the ground and legs out in front of you. And let's take soles of feet together into your butterfly. Let's find your blanket and roll up the quarter fold. So you have a long roll to set over your feet and wrap underneath your ankles. And from that place, you can have props out in front of you, or you can add additional support underneath the thighs. But move your sitting bones and then press down into the floor behind you to lengthen your spine. And then go ahead and find whatever variation of fold here works the best in your body. Deep, full breaths. Utilize your breath to lengthen on the inhale. Settle more into the ground on the exhale. And now inhale, gently bring yourself back upright. And let's move our feet forward so we have that diamond shape. Inhale, lengthen, long spine, and exhale, fold towards your feet as far as your body needs to go. And that can be where your head comes to rest all the way down, or where you're up a little ways. Find what's comfortable and take a couple big breaths. And now inhale, rise all the way back up, and we're going to bring our knees up and bring our blanket underneath our legs. And think of setting it underneath your thighs and then lengthening your legs out. And from this place, I'm going to do a little bit more of that stretch of the stirrup muscle that wraps underneath the foot. It's a little ankle support. So we're going to do a little stretch of that. So point your feet, reaching toes toward the front of your mat. And then rotate your legs. So you're turning your knees out and you're turning, it's like you're doing ballet, only you're sitting. You're turning the bottoms of your feet more toward each other. And now from this place, keep that point of your feet, lift up tall through your spine. And now you're going to try to pull your toes up toward you, and even more so try to turn the bottoms of your feet upward. And as you do so, it's like you're trying to look at the pinky toe edge of the bottom of your foot. And you can even look if you want to. And then release that. Point again and turn up. Take a look. You don't have to look if you don't want to. And then release that. And then point again and turn up. And release it. And do it one more time. Point and turn up. And release it. And then you can turn your legs back to toes pointing up. And you can have the blanket underneath, or you can switch it out to the bolster. And we'll take one forward fold here so you can make that as restorative as you would like. So flex your feet, press your heels down, lift your chest. And as you exhale, fold towards your legs. Take your feet if you want to, if that feels good, or take the floor or your hands at your shins, wherever it is. Full deep breath. And now inhale, bring yourself all the way back upright. Walk your feet in. And we're gonna make our way all the way down onto our backs. And from your back, as per usual, make sure that all of your props are handy. And as you come onto your back, hug knees in as close as is comfortable. And you can have knees narrow or knees wide or somewhere in between. But give a little hug and rock, letting your low back lengthen. And now set left foot on the ground. Open the right knee up to the right side and aim your foot toward the ceiling. And then hold on where it's comfortable for you. So you can take outside of your shin, outside of your foot, or wrap your hand around your thigh. Wherever that is, tilt your sitting bones down and then start to turn open with your left knee. So you're rocking to the pinky toe edge. Feet are both active. Take a full big breath into this variation of half happy baby pose. A little resistance here with your right arm, pulling down and pushing back with your leg. As you do that resistance, sometimes that helps you to tilt your pelvis a little bit more. Sitting bones down, lumbar curve trying to happen. And now left knee back up to center. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. And then bring your legs in as close as your body is ready for. We'll just get that stretch through the glute here. Take a big deep breath. And now set left foot down and right foot down. And then draw your left knee in toward your chest. Open it to the side and then aim your foot up. And then hold on where it feels the best in your body. Give your pelvis that tilt, sitting bones down. Active right foot as you rock onto the pinky edge, opening the knee up. Take a couple deep breaths here. Find that resistance on this side. Pull down with your left hand and push back into your hand with your leg. Retilt your pelvis. And now bring your right leg back to center and set your left ankle over your right knee. And pick your legs up towards you, or keep your foot on the ground. That's always an option. Or just take that moment for a stretch through this glute set. And now gently set both feet on the ground. Drop your knees in together to touch. Reach your arms overhead. Find a little bit of gentle movement through the pelvis. And now last thing before we settle into a Savasana, bring soles of feet together, open knees up, finding that butterfly position here. And take your blanket over your belly and over your hips for a little bit more grounding. And then as you let your eyes close, just notice any places in your body where you're still holding on. Notice if there are any spots of tension, places that won't let go. And make little adjustments to help that letting go process happen. Remembering that idea of using the support of the ground and using the connection of your breath to help you soften around the edges of tension. Doesn't mean the tension goes away entirely, but maybe your nervous system releases and relaxes a little bit. And now from this place, we're going to shift into our Shavasana. So if you'd like to add a bolster underneath your legs, you're welcome to. If you'd like to stay right where you are in butterfly, you're welcome to. But begin to find that place where you are most able to settle, most able to release the tension that's present. begin to take a deeper breath. Add some gentle movement into your fingers and toes, into your head and neck. And then as you're ready to bend your knees and roll to your side. Slowly, gently find your way back up to your seat. Take a moment to make your seat comfortable. Find props to elevate your hips. As you come to that comfortable seat, find a tilt of your pelvis so your belly is coming a little forward. Hands are resting on your legs, and let your eyes close. And as you bring your awareness to your breath right now and how it's moving, just notice what is there, what's present for you with your breath. As you let your breath slow and deepen. Start to find a slight pause at the top of the inhale and a slight pause at the bottom of the exhale. And now begin to notice your breath as it moves, watching it move down your body on your inhale, all the way to your tail. And then watch it move up your body as you exhale, all the way to your crown. Inhale from crown to tail. And exhale from tail to crown. And as you think of your breath this time moving down your body, down all of your organs, down through your hips, all the way to your tail, take a few breaths with your awareness at your tail. Bring in the affirmation of I'm always safe at the center of my being as you notice at your tail. Inhale, I'm always safe. Exhale at the center of my being. And then notice the color red, a glowing orb of red right at your tailbone. This healing energy of red and safety and connection. On your next exhale, travel that red all the way up your body to your crown. And then all the way back down to your tail as you inhale. And all the way back up to your crown as you exhale. And all the way back down to your tail as you inhale. Continue carrying that red with you, that color that can get brighter, or it can get more full and deep. Inhale that red all the way down to your tail. And all the way up to your crown. Allowing connection and healing to move thoroughly throughout your body as you inhale down to your tail and exhale up to your crown. Releasing this work with the breath. Bring hands to connected heart center. And one more time, come to this affirmation of I'm always safe at the center of my being. Have a very peaceful and beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.